So we are back today with a couple of the bowls we made yesterday. These have firmed up a little bit, although they've still got some movement. We're going to do some alterations on these. First thing I'll do is I'm going to divide this bowl into 4. So these bats have these little nubs on the side divided in 4, so I just use those, come up, make some marks. Do that, and then I'm going to come back and eyeball right in between those. We'll divide this into 8. All right, so I have here a bisque stamp that I carved. This one's probably 8 or 10 years old. I've made hundreds of pots with this. I'm going to use this one today, and the idea is I'm going to go every other one. I'm going to fill this with texture. So I'm going to start at the top like this, and my experience with stamps is it's not so much about pushing in like that as it is you want to hold the stamp on the surface and push from the inside out to the stamp. So I'm going to get the corners, get the edges, and push in from the center and kind of wiggle that out. So there's a real nice mark right in the center. I'm going to follow through this way, do the edges. These might spill out just a little bit. That's okay. So I'm going to do every other one all around. We'll speed through this and then come back from there. All right, so we've got these 4 panels textured on here, and I want to kind of divide in form what we've done in texture. So I'm going to allow these to remain raised, and I want to recess these quiet panels. And I think the idea here is to start creating some dimension on the surface, and we want to like activate one part and then leave a place to rest. Activate, rest. So I'm going to come in here and draw up that line. And see how much you can get away with here as far as dimension goes. I'm going to take it about that far. Then I'll flip that rib, come back this way. That. So I'm going to come back again with a little pressure right here in the middle and try to create kind of a peak down here. Do one that way. Yeah, so now I'm starting to get this line right down the middle. That's what I'm going for. So we'll go all the way around. All right, so now that we have those spaces divided out, I want to come back and accentuate in form what we've done in texture. So We'll start out by just softening down some of these edges. And I'm going to brace at the bottom right here and hold this and start to create some swell down at the bottom. This doesn't happen all at once, it takes several passes. Kind of the most in the middle, and then it's fading out towards that division line. All right, so all of these have been kind of swelled out. You can see this curve that we put in here now on each one. I'm going to exaggerate that a little bit further. So I'm going to kink these in the middle and then lay this top out just a little bit. That. So we get more of a swell coming up. So we've taken this now from kind of a straight walled vessel, and on the corners we're giving it a nice curve. And then where this peak is here along that ridge line, I want to come back here and create a little bit of volume there as well. So I'm starting with very gradual pressure and coming up to that peak. So I think the final step here, I want to react to what I just did there, and with these lines coming up, I want the rim to reflect what has happened in the body. So this is now kind of a soft square shape, just by the nature of how this was formed, but I want to accentuate these divisions. So on each one of these, I'm going to tuck this quiet panel in. And as I do that, it kind of rises just a little. So this began, as a pretty quiet, generic shape. And we start with the division of space. And then we activate one section, let another one become quiet. We respond to that texture with form. And each step kind of dictates the next. And already I'm thinking about some chicken tortilla soup in this thing. These lean out just a little. So this is ready to dry now. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a head start on trimming. I needed all this down here until now, but I'm going to dig in. Take a bit more of that away. And now we can go ahead and cut this off. We are going to alter this one now. This is the kind of low, wide soup pasta bowl. I think I will start on the inside. And I'm just going to let this spin. Take a metal rib. And with a little bit of pressure, add kind of a soft spiral. Hopefully that'll break through the glaze. Give this thing a sense that it was made in motion. And then for the rim, I'm going to do kind of a four-sided lobed bowl on this one. So I can identify 4 points with these nubs on the edge of these bats. And we'll just have a little wooden rib like this. So I'm going to lay this down, swoop up and out, and I'm coming about a 1/4 inch below that line to kind of break through that. There's 2. Do 4 like that, and in between those, so these are kind of soft and rounded. In between these, I'm going to do something a little sharper. All right, and then when this dries a bit, I will come back again with a wire and cut these edges. So I'll give this maybe 30 or 40 minutes to just sit out and dry, and we'll revisit this one more time. All right, so the final step on this thing, similar to the last one, what we've altered in the form, I want to carry that idea all the way up to the rim. So these marks that we left in here, these are kind of rounded edges, and then these come up to a peak. So I want to echo that along the rim. And I won't get into piercing this or this. This will still have its full diameter, but I am going to take out a little bit in between all these. So from the rounded side, I'm going to fade down and in and come up to a peak, and then from that peak we'll come down and in and come up to fading out. All right, we're just pulling little pieces off. We'll speed through this. All right, and now from here, I'm going to take a metal rib, and this is the sharpest point back here. So I'm going to come along back here and kind of knock down that sharp edge. All right, now I'll come back with a sponge. And first I'm going to go real slow. Kind gonna bob along with that line. So we're building up some slurry on that, getting in a groove. And then I'm gonna put pressure here to focus on the corners here and here. Start to pull that out. All right, and then the final step, I've got just a piece of plastic here. So I'm going to kink it and put pressure on that inside corner. I'll make one pass around and then get all that slurry off of there. And now we'll finish it. We can come back here and open these up just a bit. Like that. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to open up like that, pull that up, and we'll move this to set it on something porous, cover it with a bag and a towel overnight, and then we'll trim these tomorrow.